Howdy, everyone. This is the Roaming Prepper channel. Today, we're going to talk about these places are becoming targets. What places? I'll explain here in just a second. Welcome back, everybody, and thank you for joining me once again on the channel. As you watch the video, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe. If you'd like to share it, that does help my stats and all that fun stuff. For those of you who watched my sit rep, which is the first situation report I've done in a year and a half, I mentioned a terror attack in Bavaria, Germany that was thwarted by an intelligence agency. But they did not mention in that compilation of reports who, what, or where that person was from. So I continued to do some digging. And so there was indeed a terror attack attempt on a Bavarian Christmas market. The headline says, terror attack on Bavarian Christmas market foiled by police. A 37-year-old suspect from Iraq has allegedly photographed the market in Augsburg and discussed driving a car through it. They do and can own firearms in Germany. It's much more difficult than it is in the US. He wasn't even going to go that route. He was going to use a vehicular attack, which is much easier. German authorities foiled a potential terror attack on the Christmas market in Bavaria after tip-off from a foreign intelligence agency, which is interesting because it doesn't mention who the foreign intelligence agency was. The report does go on to state that Welt, W-E-L-T, a sister publication of Politico in the Axel Springer group, cited sources saying the suspect had disseminated posts on social media glorifying Islamic State and photographed the Christmas market. He allegedly talked about wanting to drive the car through the market. They were alerted to their online activities by a foreign intelligence agency. They didn't say who. After his arrest, he was detained and is awaiting deportation, which is exactly how they should do it. Christmas market in Berlin was targeted in 2016 with a man who pledged allegiance to IS, then drove a truck through the crowd, killing 13 people. Strasbourg's Christmas market was the scene of another deadly attack by an IS-linked extremist in 2018 that killed 5. Germany is heading to snap elections on Friday after the collapse of its three-party coalition, amid a heated debate over migration and a surge in support for the far-right party. And I mentioned on my situation report that they had indeed started seeing a lot of countries, including Romania, the Czech Republic, Slovakia, and Bulgaria, as well as now Germany and France, all starting to kick over to the right. Because of the immigration problem. It's not that people are being heartless. The problem is you're inviting large quantities of immigrants in. You're giving them all sorts of motivation to stay, all sorts of support to stay, but you are not putting any caveats in place to integrate their culture into the larger society. You, for example, look at the Hispanics, the Puerto Ricans, Mexicans, Italians, Jews, Irish, all these immigrant Polish going Germans going back to the 1800s in America. Every new group struggles with the groups that are already there, right? It's a new group. That's just human nature. But over time, each culture brings a piece of their culture, but they also meet the surrounding people somewhere in the middle. And by the second, third generation, you now have kids who are bilingual in English and Spanish, and they can make tacos, but they also like the Polish food, and you start getting that common ground where these people from all these various cultures, even though they all have their own religions and languages and whatnot, there's a common rule of law and a common societal factor. And that's not what happened here. And honestly, it looks like they were just trying to dilute and erase Germany, Poland. Actually, Poland's the one country that is not having any terrorism issues because they pretty much run everyone off. If you're not there legally, they throw you in jail. The cops can actually beat them if they resist, and then they kick them out. And Hungary and Poland have had 0 terror attacks in a hot minute because they just don't tolerate it. So, and actually, the Polish president told the EU that they were a bunch of idiots and simps, and he called them a bunch of nasty stuff, which I thought was quite awesome. The point is, when you have large changes in demographics and there's no motivation for the groups to meet in the middle, you're going to have stuff like this. But this goes further. When you're dealing in the holidays, right? So we have Hanukkah between, say, our Halloween in the US, October and say January, February. You have Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Christmas, Thanksgiving, depending if you're in the Western Hemisphere. You also have, I believe it's the Orthodox Christmas. The beginning of Lent comes shortly after in the spring or in the late winter. And you also have the Chinese New Year. There's a lot of religious festivals during the time late in the year between like October, February timeframe. And during those periods of times, there are large gatherings, and these gatherings are what they're targeting. There's another story I'd like to share with all of you because it does bear credence to this. Let's see if this one plays nicely. Here we go. Worshippers flee arson attack at Melbourne synagogue. This is in Australia. It says worshippers were forced to flee an Australian synagogue after it was set on fire, with the prime minister condemned as an act of hate. Firefighters were called just after 0400 local time, which is 4 in the morning over in Australia, and arrived to find the building fully ablaze. Community leaders told local media that a few people were inside at the time for morning prayers, and they'd reported seeing fire bombs being thrown. So, folks, when you're out and about, while you're out doing your thing, make sure you reach out to people, let them know where you will be. Let them know when you get back home. If you're in a big gathering, pay attention to the situation around you, pay attention to your surroundings, your exits, and have a plan. Also have some cash in case someone knocks the power out. But in any case, folks, I want everybody to be mindful this holiday season when you're in the gatherings, whether it's at the theater on Christmas Day, watching a movie with the kids, visiting a relative, going to the Christmas market, going to church. Watch your six, watch your friends, and let somebody you trust know where you're going so that they can keep tabs if there's an emergency. And I know you're going to the Christmas market and you say, hey, I ran from the Christmas market, I'm hiding over here. I can go find my friend and take them home. So think in those terms. Doesn't mean be paranoid, but be vigilant. And there's a difference. Vigilance is prepared awareness. Panic is unprepared, period. Just unprepared. So keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen. You guys be good, be safe. God bless, and prayers for everybody in these places, because we've seen enough of this hatefulness and it needs to change. You guys take care.